It has been a minute. Hey guys, what is up? It's HVL Manga here and welcome back to the YouTube channel. So I haven't posted a video in about a month or so. I wanted to apologize for that. My brain does this silly little thing where it's like every seasonal change, it like implodes on itself and I just stop doing everything. I'm doing fine, don't worry, I'm getting better, but regardless, that's not why you guys are here. Today, I am going to be showing you guys all of the manga that I picked up in both the months of September and October. Again, I didn't post my September month's manga haul, so I'm just gonna combine these two videos into one and give you guys a very large manga haul. I'm very excited to show you guys everything that I picked up, and I got a lot of things that genuinely I never thought I would pick up, like never. So as always, let's get right into it, and let's obviously first touch on the pre-orders that I picked up in the month of both September and October. So starting off strong, the first pickup that I got this month is Spy Family Volume 8. Spy Family is a series that everyone and their mother is reading right now. This series is just genuinely so much fun. It has just the right amount of action, just the right amount of comedy, slice of life elements. If you're looking for something a little bit more tame but still has some really action-packed moments, definitely give Spy Family a shot. And only at 8 volumes, it's not too terrible to catch up right now, because there are some series that I want that are like 30 volumes, and I'm like, who has that kind of money? Okay, so the next manga pre-order that I picked up this month is Kaiju number 8 Volume 4. I love this series. Kaiju number 8 is definitely one of my favorite new releasing shonens right now. It is just so much fun. I actually have been reading this on the Shonen Jump app prior to the physical releases, so I actually have read this already. I think I'm at like volume 5 or 6 in the physicals, where I'll start like reading them again once I get them. It is so good. I love the characters. I love the development of our characters. It's nothing super groundbreaking, but it does everything really, really well. So if you're looking for a good action-packed manga series, definitely give this a shot. It's been performing really well in Japan markets, so definitely give this a shot. Okay, so the next manga that I got this month is Noragami Volume 24. I feel like these volumes are very few and far in between, so whenever one of these come out, I am very excited. I am not on Volume 24, so I haven't read this yet, but Noragami is a really good, in my opinion, starter manga series. I think there's a little bit in Noragami for everyone, regardless of maybe your normal manga reading preferences. Follows our main character Yato, who is a very low-class, low-respected god, as he basically tries to become the most well-respected, the most loved god there is, but obviously there's a lot of fighting, and there's a lot of conflict, and there's a lot of different things that happen in the story. So if you're looking for a good new read, I would recommend this. I will say there are 2 releases of this. You have the singles and the omnibuses. I personally would recommend the singles, but I do realize that the omnis are probably a little bit cheaper. But yeah, great story, highly recommend it. Give it a shot if you haven't already. Okay, talking about manga releases that are few and far in between, we have One Punch Man Volume 24. Wow, we get a volume of this like every year or longer. I don't even know the time frame. This is the first volume since I've picked up the rest of the series that I like have kept up with, so it's kind of strange but kind of good. Like, I'm really excited to have another volume of One Punch Man. I love this cover as well. I love the colors, and it just looks so freaking good. I'm also not at this volume yet. I really do need to dive back into One Punch Man because it is genuinely a series that I love, and I've seen some spoilers, unfortunately, of later chapters, and the art goes absolutely insane. So I'm trying to understand that. I'm trying to get there. I'll get there eventually, but very excited to have this volume. Again, if you just want a good, solid manga series, pick up One Punch Man. Again, it's a series that I'd recommend to beginners. Really good stuff, and cannot wait to get caught up, which I need to do. That needs to be a priority. Okay, so the next manga that I got this month is one that I freaking love. I love this series, and I rave about it every single time that I pick up a volume. That is Mashle, Magic, and Muscles Volume 8. It's so good. It's just, it itches the right part of my brain. I think I was definitely the Harry Potter kid growing up. Like, I went to Universal. I did the whole wand ceremony. I literally have a wand. Like, it's on my shelf, but I literally have one. Like, I was that kid. Unfortunately, fortunately, I mean, you decide. Regardless though, this is like the manga Harry Potter version, but like elevated and kind of like comedic and like gag manga in a way. I love as each volume progresses because you start to learn a little bit more about the world and about maybe the good and the evil in the world and the different characters, and I think again as the series progresses it just solidifies even more for me. It gets more serious, it gets more action intense, and I just really appreciate that. So again, if you are a Harry Potter kid, read this because it's freaking good, and even if you're not, I recommend it because it is just really funny. I like it a lot. Okay, so the next manga pre-order that I got this month is Momo the Blood Taker Volume 2. This is a new newer, I guess, physically releasing series printed by 7 Seas. And I will say what I adore about this series is the freaking covers. Like, look at that. Like, I love the blue and the black and like the gold yellow accent. I think it looks so fantastic. So I've actually read this volume and it was another really good volume. I would say, I said it in my last video when I talked about this, but it reminds me a lot of Parasite, but not like so much of Parasite that I'm like, I feel like I'm reading the same thing. So if you like Parasite, you will like this read. It has really good artwork, and as time progresses, and in this volume in particular, again, I'm starting to learn a little bit more about the world, about the people in the world, about the threats in the world, and it's really good. So I highly recommend it. It's basically a vampire story. Our main character here is half human, half vampire type thing, and he has this quest of revenge to go on, and it's just really good. So highly recommend this. Also, the beautiful covers, I can't get enough. 7 Seas, you're killing it. Okay, another release that I think 7 Seas is also killing is Kimono Jihen. I think volume 2. Again, this is like Momo the Blood Taker, a newer physically releasing title that 7 Seas is publishing. I've also been really enjoying this one. It is, I wouldn't say, it's nothing like super unique, it's nothing super special. I mean, it's kind of the trope of like this kid is like a demon, half demon human thing like Momo the Blood Taker, and he kind of goes on like this quest to like defeat other ones. He joins this crew that goes and defeats demons, and he's kind of a part of that. He's kind of like their, you know, the ace up their sleeve, you know what I mean? So it's like nothing super like unique or different, but I don't know, I've been really enjoying it. There's been something really fun about this read. There's like, I would say it doesn't like take itself too seriously either, which I also really appreciate. There's some good comedic elements, there's some good like wholesome moments, there's good action. I would just recommend this. I picked this up based on one of my friend's recommendations, and the recommendation did not disappoint. So I would highly recommend it. Only 2 volumes too, so not too much of a financial commitment at this point. Okay, so next pre-order that I got this month, or these past couple months I guess, is The Apothecary Diaries Volume 6. I love this series. It is such a nice read. It is basically, I would equate it to like a Sherlock Holmes type of thing. You follow our main character here, who's an incredibly smart individual who works on the inner royal courts in China, I believe, and she basically just solves mysteries. She's a smart woman, which we obviously love, and she solves a lot of mystery, and you know, there's a lot of drama, there's a lot of tension in the inner royal court. I mean, it's royal, of course there is, right? So I've been really enjoying this read. I love seeing her character development and her relationships unfold with specific characters. So if you're looking for more of like that kind of mystery Sherlock Holmesy type read, I would recommend this. Really good art, really good characters, and I'm excited to get more into this series as the volumes keep coming out. Okay, so next, moving on, this next release is a very new release. I actually only got this a couple days ago, and I actually have read it. That is Blue Box Volume 1. So let's talk about this read. I remember seeing this announced by Viz that it was getting a physical release, and everyone was really excited about it, and I was like, okay, I need to know why. Like, I'm gonna pick up a volume, I'm going to try to understand why. What is the hype I need to know? So Blue Box basically follows our main character here, who is on the badminton team, and he wants to go to nationals for the badminton team. He's currently kind of like below the bar, I guess, of like ability in badminton, I guess, and he's basically just gonna work hard and probably get to nationals. And this girl he's absolutely infatuated with, she's a star basketball player, and they get to know each other, and then something really strange happens, and they're in each other's lives a whole lot. So let me just put it this way. I read this, I did enjoy it. I don't think it's anything super unique, especially when it comes to sports series. I think there's always that trope of like, like I am just the worst at, I don't know, juggling, but then it's like after hours and hours of training and hard work and perseverance and, you know, support from the people that love me, I will become the best juggler. You know, so it's kind of giving off that vibe. Not that that's necessarily a bad thing, and I haven't read a whole lot of sports series, like, it's particularly around that kind of normal trope that it would make me read this and be like, oh, I've read this 50 times, but it's kind of a thing, so do just be aware of that. I did enjoy it though. I think the characters are interesting, and the art is good. There are some panels that I think that I like a lot better than others. I think that's pretty typical though in a manga. I will say though, if you're planning to pick up this read, beware of the horribly misprinted spines. It is a thing. So many of these volumes I have seen in stores and on Twitter and online of just the misaligned spines. I mean, it's like, thankfully I got a good one. I literally asked the Barnes & Noble worker because it wasn't on the shelves yet. I was like, hey Bessie, can you help a girl out? Can you try to get the best spine possible? And I felt bad asking that, but I did anyways, and she's a homegirl. She helped me out. But I would just say be aware of the spines. I mean, if you don't care about that, that's one thing, but if you do care, be aware, because I did buy it on Amazon initially and then I had to return it because it was just so bad. But Blue Box, I think it has potential. I think it's pretty standard though. I will say I love around badminton. I played badminton in high school and I love the sport. It makes me want to play again. But yeah, just be aware of that. It's good, but it's nothing groundbreaking. Okay, so the next manga that I picked up this month, I am very excited that I picked it up because, boys and girls, I freaking love this. I don't know how to say it, and I'm gonna make a fool of myself. Dan to Dan? Dan to Dan. Something? So this is a newer physically releasing Viz title. Obviously, this is the first volume, and I, at first, wasn't sure if I was gonna pick it up. I don't really know why. I'm kind of like, whenever a new release comes out, I do tend to buy it just because, or at least try it out. But like, in my head, I'm like, I don't need another new series. Like, I don't need another 40 bajillion long volume commitment in my collection. But then I always end up picking it up, and here I am with volume 1. This was good. This was weird, but I really enjoyed it. How do I describe it? Basically it's like one person believes in spirits, one person believes in aliens, and then, they don't believe each other's things. Like the girl doesn't believe in aliens and the boy doesn't believe in spirits, and then they go on like this journey to prove to the other person that they're real, and then they get possessed by these things, and then they go around and fight people. I mean, it's I would say it's not terribly unique, but I would say how they got it is kind of interesting, the context behind how they got possessed and whatever. It was good though. I really liked it. This is another series that doesn't take itself too seriously. There was a couple panels, if you've read this, you know what I'm talking about, that literally I read it, I had to read it a couple times because I'm like, did it really just say that in a manga? Excuse me? But I would recommend this overall. I did really enjoy this first volume, and I am planning to pick up the rest. I will say I don't love the spines. They're little just nyeh to me. I'm picky though. I will say the artwork is really good as well. So yeah, I don't know. I would recommend this if you haven't given it a shot already. It is definitely for an older audience, but I did really enjoy it, and I do recommend it. Okay, next moving on. The next manga that I picked up this month, this is gonna require a little bit of explanation because it's not something that I would typically pick up, and I feel like the feedback that this series has gotten is primarily negative. So let me talk about it. So the series that I picked up is Romantic Killer Volume 1. So this is a shoujo beat title. Be so proud of me. So this is a shoujo beat title that honestly, what's with this? I'm not gonna lie, the trim size of this series is very interesting. I will say it is all in color. So that's kind of fun. So that's probably why the print size is what it is. So Romantic Killer, it's basically, I believe it's a reverse harem. So it's this girl, she gets mad dudes. That's the premise, right? So basically what happens is this weird god type thing descends upon her and says to her, you need to find a man. So because of that, I'm gonna take away all of your stuff until you find a man. And then she gets thrown into all of these really clearly set up situations that these men just come upon her, and it's just she doesn't know how to handle it, and she's kind of quirky, kind of nerdy, so she doesn't really get how to interact with these dudes, all this sort of stuff. Let's talk about it, because people, again, there's been a pretty negative response around this series. Basically, the idea of somebody needing to be in a relationship and basically stripping someone of all of their things that they love in order to get into a relationship. Obviously, that's maybe not the best message to send across to young individuals reading this, or just people in general. So I can see how it is perceived negatively within the community. But honestly, I was able to kind of put that aside and just kind of take it for what it is, and just kind of not think too much about it. So I would say if you're able to do that, give this series a shot. But if you are you read that or you hear that and you're that's horrible, don't read it. because I can definitely guarantee you it's not for everyone, but I strangely kind of really enjoyed it, and when I enjoy a shoujo beat title, we gotta celebrate that. So is it kind of controversial? Yes, but be proud of me, because I picked up a shoujo title. Be proud! That's all I ask. Okay, so the next manga that I picked up within these past 2 months is Beastars Volume 20. Beastars Volume 20, let's talk about this. This series is wrapping up. I believe there's only 2 more volumes left in the series, so it'll end at Volume 22. I'm nervous. I am very nervous to see how this ends because Beastars, in my opinion, was so incredibly strong, like the first and middle of the series. Like, I thought it was just so good, especially the first couple arcs. I was just genuinely like enthralled with it. I really enjoyed it. But as of late, these last couple volumes and this last arc that we're in feels very disjointed and is kind of disappointing. So, and I've heard from a lot of people that the ending you will either think the ending's okay or it's the worst thing in the world. So I'm really nervous. I'm really nervous to see how this series ends, and if they do it well. The way it's going, I can tell that I'm not going to really love it. So we'll see. I'm a little nervous. We'll see how it ends, but I'm scared. Okay, so the next manga pre-order that I picked up this month is Thus Spoke Rohan Kishibe. I hope that's right. So this is I believe a spin-off of JoJo's, or a side story, more like following our main character Rohan here on the front cover. I haven't met Rohan yet. I don't know him or what he's up to or anything of that nature, so I picked this up purely out of obligation and dedication to JoJo's. So yeah, I haven't read this yet because I'm obviously not going to read this before I get into, I believe it's part 4 is where he comes around. I don't know what to say about this other than honestly, genuinely, probably one of the most stunning volumes that I have. Like, look at that! Look at that! Is that just not the most beautiful thing you've ever seen? When I read it, and when I get up to date, or at least discover who this character is, you will be the first to know. Okay, so the next manga that I picked up is Ragnarok Volume 4. I love this series. It's so, like, there's not a whole lot of sustenance to it. It's not like I'm, like, reading this series and I just have such philosophical, like, takeaways and understandings and I'm like, wow, I am a changed woman. And no, that's not really the case. But it's just Bigfoot. It's really just big dudes fighting big dudes, and I'm a simple woman, and that's, I don't know, I enjoy it, it's fun. I will say, it is so frustrating when one match doesn't get completed and resolved in one volume. Like, I have been on the edge of my seat for a while here, and I am just ready to know, ready to understand what happens. I need to know, I need to know. So this is honestly a series that I could see myself continuing to read online because I do just get so hooked after I read a volume, and I wish they pumped these out more because I really enjoy them. They're so stupid, but I love them. Okay, so this next manga, honestly, is another one that kind of came a little bit out of the blue for me. I saw it on some people's stories on Instagram, and then I saw it on Barnes & Noble, and I'm like, this is such a beautiful release. I need it. And that is Tales of the Kingdom, Volume 1. This is a newer release done by Yen Press. It's a beautiful hardcover with a really nice slipcover. I read this a while ago, and honestly, even when I read it, it was like, I didn't completely understand it. It follows a variety of characters in like a royal setting, primarily these 2 characters. I would say this series leaves a lot for self-interpretation of the read. Like, it doesn't draw everything super explicitly out. Like, it doesn't like give you all of the information. It doesn't like just spoon feed you, you know, the context and, you know, what happens. So it's kind of like, you kind of gotta interpret a little bit for yourself, which I think I really liked, and I think that's why I really enjoyed this, because I think typically this isn't a read that I would gravitate towards. Let's just be honest here. Yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised I liked this as much as I did. So I would say give it a whirl, but just set that expectation for yourself that you probably won't know what's going on. And I didn't either. So, taking a very different change of pace, now it's time for some depression reads. That is No Longer Human, the complete edition. done by a mangaka that I don't know how to say. Basically, No Longer Human is I believe a book that exists, has been for a long time, really highly acclaimed, a lot of people really like it. Junji Ito made his rendition of this read, and this was another rendition that was actually typically it was out of print. This initially was printed in a singles format, but recently was picked up by Kodansha and was made into a complete edition, which I'm really excited about and really glad that they did. I love seeing older releases get reprinted in a new way, just because more people can read them, more people can experience them, and I'm really glad that that's happening. Let's talk about this, because I read this last night, and this series is really sad, really depressing. It follows our main character as he basically struggles with getting a grasp on humanity and understanding what it means to be a person. He doesn't really relate to people. He doesn't like share like emotions that most people do. Like, he doesn't know how to be happy. He doesn't know how to experience that. So that gets him into this situation where he basically puts on this front, this persona to get people to like him, and it follows him starting as like a younger, like a teen guy, I guess, to his mid like 20s. It follows him on that journey of just going through a lot of crap, and you basically see this guy who is just, his life is falling apart. Like, at the age of 25, his life is just falling apart. And it was a really hard to digest read. It was a really sad read. It took me a really long time to read it because I just like, it was so sad. And I think what makes, like, this is just me talking about it because boy, I have a lot of thoughts. What makes this really, really sad for me is that, like, this is a thing that happens to people every single day. People fall into this pit of hopelessness and they just can't get out, and they resort to a variety of things to fill this void that they have. And it's just so, like, this is so real. I think this is based off of a real story. I could be wrong. I think it is. I'm not entirely sure. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But this just, as a person, as a human, this just, like, my heart just bled for this character. And I really appreciate authors and people who are able to make the readers feel something when they're reading a book. Like, Record of Ragnarok, I read that, I'm like, that's just big dudes fighting big dudes, fun. But this made me feel empathy for this character and just left me feeling like garbage and just sad. But if you are willing to be uncomfortable and willing to get in that headspace, and you're older, this is for an older audience only, do not be young and read this, because I can't imagine if I was young and I read this. I would recommend it. It's a classic. I feel like this is something that everyone should read, obviously, if you meet those certain things that I just talked about. No Longer Human. I don't want to talk about this anymore because it was genuinely so sad, but it was really good, but it was so sad, so just be careful if you pick this up. Just be aware of that. Okay, so transitioning on a much lighter note, the next manga that I picked up is Blue Lock Volume 3. This is I love the sports series, and I've been seeing so much hate about this series on Twitter, and I'm like, why? I'm like, okay, yeah, it's a little intense, I get it, but like, that's kind of the point. And they basically get thrown into this boot camp type thing, which is like a battle royale type setting. They have to fight for their position to play ever again. The stakes are high, it's really intense. Definitely got a lot of those battle royale elements, so if you like that, read this. It's a very refreshing, in my opinion, sports series. Like, it's not like your typical, like, I don't know, it just does things very differently, and I really like that. So I highly recommend Blue Lock. The anime's also been really good. I've been enjoying that as well, so yeah, Blue Lock Volume 3. Okay, so the next manga pre-order, we have two more. There's so many, I'm so sorry. The next pre-order that I got this month is Alice in Borderland Volume 3. I really enjoy this read. This is a good death game series, and every was I holding it? Sorry. Every volume, the stakes get higher and higher, and you start to learn more and more about the world and the environment that they are in, which is really, really interesting because there's a lot to unpack here. This volume in particular was the Among Us volume. The game reminded me of Among Us. Sue me. Actually don't, but like, I don't know. Among Us. Okay, the last manga pre-order that I picked up, there's so many, I am so sorry. The last one that I picked up is Maisani Koku Volume 9. I love this read. It is such a good adult romance, slice of life read. I honestly recommend this to a lot of people as maybe like their first, not only Rumiko Takahashi work, which I love her, but also a really good adult romance read, because I think sometimes for me, romance reads are either really hit or miss. They can either be really, really cheesy, really, really corny, and I'm just sitting there like, bro, like I can't do it. But like this series does it so well. We only have one more volume left and I am clenched to see what happens. If something happens, if individuals that I want to get together don't get together, I'm going to lose my marbles. But it's fine, I'm fine. Regardless though, really good read. I really enjoy it and I highly recommend it. Great read. Also beautiful releases by Viz. They are knocking it out of the park. Okay, we are finally transitioning into other manga that I picked up. I know I got a lot. Anyways, so the first manga that I picked up that wasn't a pre-order is actually Blackjack Volume 1. So let's talk about this. This actually came in a bundle with another series that I'm going to show you in a minute that I really actually wanted. But decided to get this anyways because Blackjack is a very, like, classic series. Everyone really knows about it. It's one of those kind of classic Tezuka works, and I've been trying to get into older works as of late, so I don't know a whole lot about this, but I'll keep you posted, and I think this series is being reprinted, so that's exciting. But when I read this, I'll let you guys know. But yeah, Blackjack Volume 1. So the manga that I actually wanted that actually was in a bundle with Blackjack is none other than the Dororo singles Volumes 1 and Volume 2. So Dororo is my favorite anime of all time. I love the anime and I want the manga so bad, but ain't no way I'm picking up that brick, dog. That brick is so big and I am taking a stand against bricks for as long as I can. So I'm trying to piece together the singles. So I have the first and second one. I obviously need the third one, which is very hard to find. So if you want to hook a girl up, let me know. But very excited to have this. I haven't gotten into it yet because I'm kind of nervous to get into it before I get Volume 3, but it'll happen eventually. Really great story. Highly recommend the anime. I think you can watch it on Amazon Prime or Amazon, whatever you want to say, but really good stuff. Really excited to get into it and really happy that I was able to find some of the singles. Okay, so the next manga that I picked up is a series that, boy, I loved. I loved it so much. This is actually getting a reprint done by Yen Press, and I am so glad that they are because this series was so good. So I picked up actually Emma Volumes 1 through 3. So I already had Volume 5. It was in stock when I wanted to get the series. So then when these came back in stock, I decided to scoop them up. I am still missing the ever elusive Volume 4. I don't know when that will come back in stock. Hopefully soon. Emma is such a good series. It follows our main character Emma, who is a maid kind of in like an old England. I don't know if it's the Victorian era, I could be completely wrong, but it's like old England with like kings, queens, duchesses, dukes, like all that sort of stuff. Basically, if you've seen Bridgerton on Netflix or have read the books, that's the setting that this is in. Follows our main character Emma, who is a maid, who falls in love with this young lad on the back here, and he is of a noble status, and their love is it's tragic. It's never meant to be. How is a maid supposed to marry and be in love with someone of such class and such stature? And it's kind of a Romeo and Juliet vibe. When I tell you that I've never read a series so fast than this, I genuinely mean it. I binged it so fast. I literally read Volume 4 online because I'm like, I cannot wait. Such a good series. Highly recommend it. Again, a really good romance, slice of life series set in like a different era, a different time, which is really cool. And I like always reading about different periods of time. So really good. Pick these up while you can. Fantastic read. Okay, next moving on, I picked up the rest of a series that I picked up a couple volumes before previous months, wanted to give it a shot, read it, frickin' loved it. That is Summertime Rendering Volumes 4, 5, and 6. This is actually the complete series. This was so good. This series is such a good horror, thriller, mystery read. The ending I thought was really well done. Just overall, I think this is such a good read. If you haven't gotten into it yet, I would highly recommend it. It did take me a couple volumes to get into this series, but like once Volume 2, 3 hit, I was instantly hooked. It's fantastic. Again, good horror, mystery, action read in only 6 volumes. It's not that bad. Okay, so next moving on, the next series that I picked up is one that I never expected to pick up because I hate the physical releases, but I decided to swallow my pride and pick it up anyways because I've heard it's just freaking good. I actually picked up all of Gantz in the Omnis done by Dark Horse. This is like everyone knows about Gantz. If you enjoy seinen, you know about Gantz. It's freaking good, and I am so mad that I let the stupid releases make me not pick this up for as long as I did because I adored this read. It is so good. I believe I'm on Volume 6 if I'm remembering correctly. They're so quick, like you can just burn through volumes super quick, even though they're freaking thick. But I've been enjoying this. It's just balls to the wall action, like, and I love how you can never predict what's going to happen. No one is safe. It just is really good. If you like seinen and you like darker stuff and you are older, I would recommend Gantz. It's freaking good. Do these releases suck booty? Yeah, but it's worth it for this because I've been loving it. Another series I never expected to own physically because, you know, there's a lot of, I think, a stigma around the series. That is My Hero Academia, volumes 1 through 32. I picked up the entire series so far of My Hero. I read the first couple volumes, absolutely loved it, knew that I needed the rest, so I picked it up. I will say I was hesitant to get into this series because I was like, boy, like, you know, there's a stigma around it, and I don't know if it's because of the series or if it's because of the fans. You're able to interpret however you will, I'm not saying either way. Regardless though, I was scared. I was scared to get into it. There's just something really charming about it. I don't even know how to completely articulate it, but if you are looking for a good Shonen Jump title, I would just give it a shot. Don't let the fans, don't let the stigma turn you away, because it is fun, I enjoy it, and I am really glad that I picked these up because it is a really fun series. Okay, and lastly, the last manga that I have for you guys in today's video, I picked up the third One Piece box set. It finally came back in stock. I have been needing this for a frickin' long time, so I am very excited that this came back in stock. I am now officially caught up to date in the box sets with One Piece. Very excited. I don't know what else to say because I'm not here. I'm on like volume 16. I have a lot to go yet, but I'm planning to read it on my trip when I go to Christmas, like Christmas stuff. So I'll be catching up, don't you worry. But very excited to have this. Yeah, One Piece, I've been enjoying it so far and I cannot wait to see where it goes. So guys, that was all of the manga that I picked up in these past couple months. I know it's a lot, it's a past couple months, so forgive me for how long this video is. Definitely got a lot of pre-orders, but I am really excited about everything else that I got. So I would love to know, what did you guys pick up this month? Please let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I miss you guys and I can't wait to be back. Bye guys.